more about myth since the last video. And again, I'm just to reiterate, it's a term that for me, it's almost so vague it's meaningless. But I've come across one or two quotations which I found quite useful, or one or two ideas which I found quite useful. Two ideas which come from this book. I'm trying to get the name of it. It's got the words falling, light and speed in the title. It's something like the speed of falling objects that light. You'd think it'd be the speed of lighting objects that fall, but it's not. It's the speed of falling objects that light, I think. I can't remember the author. And it says two things in there which are, I'm not sure how meaningful they are, but they're quite interesting. One is this idea that myth is the place where the known meets the unknowable. The place where the known meets the unknowable, which I quite like. How I kind of interpret that is to do with the limitations of expressibility and the limitations of our ability to conceive certain things in terms of natural language and also in terms of a kind of embodied understanding. Well, a contemporary example would be something like Big Bang, the Big Bang theory. I'm assuming the Big Bang theory is it's a reasonably respectable scientific theory, I think, which is gathering support and has some validity to it. I know that. But for me, at least, it's and obviously I'm completely naive in this area. It's one of those things which is right on the edge of what is known and what's unknowable. Because the systems by which we know things, which organise the world into kind of three-dimensional objects distributed across sections of time. That's the origins of the universe at the moment of the Big Bang, before which presumably there was no time, is right on the edge of that which is unknowable by any conventional means. You'd have to resort to mathematics and those kind of specialist languages to begin to discuss that. So certainly in natural language, and presumably in natural thought, I'm not sure about that word, but it's something like that. You are pretty much stuck with using terms like Big Bang, and which does feel a bit like the subject of a myth, I think. And if you can say anything about the Big Bang, or you can say two things about it, which was for sure, one thing, it wasn't big, by definition, and second, it didn't go bang. So it's not functioning as a descriptor. I know it was introduced as a kind of snidey descriptive word initially by someone who didn't believe in it, Fred Hoyle, I think. But either way, as an idea, it seems to be almost mythic in terms of its position at the edge of the known and the unknowable. The other thing that this guy says in this book about falling things that light is he gives this example of the sky. And I haven't really thought through this yet, but it sounds quite tantalizing. He says when you look at the sky, you see the blue sky. There's a beautiful blue sky above me right now, like the sky at The Simpsons. He says what you're seeing there is the relationship between the light of the sun and the chemical composition of the atmosphere. I'm not sure how that relates to that previous quotation, but what you're seeing there in a completely physical way, I'm not having to conceptualize anything in order to be able to see the sky as blue, but my somatic apparatus is constructing blueness out of that relationship, and is providing a kind of experience which is, again, I guess, at the edge of the known and the unknowable, I think, in some ways, in a much a literal way, actually, in terms of the sky. So I quite like that. I quite like this thing about the edge of the known and the unknowable for the reasons as well, actually. It reminds me of all those stories about, or those uses of edges and liminal spaces as being places where myths arise, or where particular things take place. So, for example, there's that book by Ray Van Sewer called On the Shores of Nothingness, which is a kind of cognitive analysis of certain metaphysical poets, and how certain poetic language is designed to stimulate certain states of mind. It comes out of poetic cognition. I think he was one of the originators of the term cognitive poetics. So again, it's this idea that that this border, this edge between the known and the unknowable, is a particular place where special things may happen.